Hello and welcome back to the channel. After a lot of time, I had a very busy time and no spare time to play or do anything else rather than paint some miniatures and working on the translation of the version 3 of Valor and Fortitude. But finally I'm here today for another Batrep into the Peninsula, and here we have the mission of Santa Cruz, which is the main objective of the engagement of today. Today the forces of the British and their Spanish and Portuguese allies are facing off the usual French force, but the French have some addiction, and I'm here today especially to show you the new rules, the changes to both the army, the French and the Brits, and the general rule during this game. And the mission here is to conquest this terrain, the courtyard of the church is the main objective. Who control it with a unit, not a shaken unit, inside it at the end of the game, and without any enemy unit, enemy unshaken unit, also within control the mission, the Church of the Santa Cruz. Secondary objective for both army, that wood here onto the hill and that hill. Each hill grant 2 victory point. The main mission grant 5 victory point plus the number of defeat inflicted to the enemy. So that's it for the table. We have this wood and that wood down there, which are rock terrain but can be crossed. The objective is a defendable terrain. The fields grant no cover and do not slow down any unit, are just there for scenic. The fence is a barricade, low barricade, and the church is a building and may be occupied by a single unit, a detachment or an understraight battalion. Not a large battalion can enter it. The smith, this is the smith houses, can also be occupied by an understrained battalion or a detachment. And that's it for the table, for the terrain. And now I proceed to deploy both the army and then show you the army when they are deployed, and roll to see if the French will be the attacker or the defender. I will run the attacker, the defender will also run by EA, but in effect in this mission there is no defender, both the army are the attacker. So we roll to see who will be run by the EA and who will be run by the by myself. And that's it, back when the armies are deployed. Before deployment I need to roll to see who will be the human attacker, because the EA need to know where deploy by terrain. So the highest will be the human attacker, so will be me. So I will run the French and the EA will run the Brits. And now proceeding to deployment. Start with the British deployment. On the right side towards the hill with the woods, we have 2 units of allied of the Brits, 2 units of Spanish, 1 unit, understrained unit of Spanish militia, and a detachment of guerrilla, plus the Brits itself, 1 unit of 95th rifle, and then 1 understrained unit, the 52nd Oxfordshire, and the 43 Mormonshire, led by their officers. And this complete the light brigade, which their task is to attack this hill here with the woods. This unit, this brigade, are composed of a small detachment of 60 rifle, then the light battalion of the 51st Light Battalion, then the 69th and the 4th Line Battalion, and a unit of Gordon Highlander, the 52 Gordon Highlander Battalion. Down in the center, where the most part of the effort was put in according to the plan, as another rifle detachment of the 60 rifle. In front of them, the 92nd Light Battalion, Scottish Light Battalion, then the 1st Rifle and the Black Watch, just ready in line to push into the church and the mission. And behind them, 2 units of British Guard, the 3rd and the 1st Battalion of the British Guard. Both of them are accompanied by cannon. One is for the Scots Brigade, what I call Scots Brigade, the other one is for the Guard. Then on their flank, the Brigade of Light Cavalry, 2 units of Light Dragoon, the 6th and the 11th Light Dragoon, and in front of them the 13 Hussars, accompanied by a 6-pounder of horse artillery. On the left British side, the Brigade of King German Legion, 1st and 3rd Battalion of the German Legion, and the 2nd Light Battalion, plus the Allied Portuguese 1 unit of Line Infantry and 1 unit of Cazador. To compensate the slight difference in favor of the French, this unit here is British trained, so they have disciplined musketry, and both the Scots Battalion are elite, so the Black Watch and the 52nd Gordon Highlanders are elites. And their general is Thomas Graham. Here he is lucky and charismatic. I use the officer trait, so it is lucky and charismatic. Then in reserve we have 2 units of heavy dragoon with their officer. He is the 2nd officer to have a trait. He has a dash, so a bonus for the attack of the heavy cavalry. Just show you the French reserve heavy cavalry, the 26th, 23rd and the 11th Dragoon, and elements of the 15 Dragoons on foot, 2 detachment of Dragoon on foot led by their officer. And now moving into the French deployment. In front of the King German Legion, the 2nd French Brigade led by their officer, 1 unit, one unit of field gun, then 3 identical battalion of line infantry, no upgrade, a detachment of voltigeurs, and a unit of combined grenadier, and this is the 1st Brigade. Then in the center we have 2 Brigade Light Cavalry Brigade made by the 5th Hussars, 2 units of Chasseurs en Cheval, their horse artillery, and 2 units of Dragoon on foot. The overall general is Marshal Masséna. Behind the cavalry, a brigade made of 2 separate battalion of Polish infantry in line, 1 unit of line infantry no upgrade, and another combined grenadier battalion. Then a battery of 3 heavy cannon of 12-pounder with their officer. He has the trait artillerist and is the 2nd officer who has a trait. I want to stress the rules and want to see if they work. He can with artillerist choose the target for its battery. And the trait for Masséna is strategist, which allow him to automatically activate on 36 inches and premieres +1 to the unit within 12 inches to it in combat. And sorry, then a brigade of infantry, 3-line battalion plus a battalion of Swiss, no particular upgrade, 1 field gun, 1 unit of voltigeur at the moment information. This voltigeur here and this detachment of light cavalry here also are part of this main brigade, which is the main brigade which are ordered to attack the Messian. And then on the left of the French, the light French brigade made of 3 units of Leger at the moment in attack column, 1 unit of voltigeur in front, and understraight unit of voltigeur on their left. And they have an horse artillery which accompany them. And you have just seen the reserve, and that's it. Now proceeding to the first turn. Remember that this is what I can put down to be as much historical as possible, but my army list for the sheer number of models cannot be completely historical, so you will forgive me for this. And now proceeding to determine who will be the first to move, and proceeding to the first turn. The first activation will be for the Brits, and the last things, because there's a huge number of points down, I do not want to waste many times in showing a roll of the dice, so I will proceed in recap the phase without rolling too many dice, and only if the roll is very decisive for the game I will show it in a camera. Otherwise you will follow the game turn after turn with a recap at the end of the shooting and a recap at the end of the activation and melee phase. And that's it. And now moving into the British first turn. So we are here for the first British turn. This is the strategy taken for the AA. Center attack and equal attack will the change if the situation require it, but essentially center attack, where the main force push into the center, where left and right wings also push forward, but they eventually will support the attack. And for this reason, the main force is deployed exactly in front of the mission, with a unit of a brigade of infantry in front, followed by the brigade of guard, deployed artillery on the hill. And on their immediate left and right, we have light cavalry brigade here and another infantry brigade here, which they try to envelop and protect the gain into the mission. But are equally ready to move on the left or on the right to support the attack on the secondary objective. And that's it. The main plan essentially is the same for the Brits, which have 2 units in center and 1 unit that can both help on the left or on the right of the mission. And now proceeding to the to roll for the plan. So on the left, 6, they engage. Engage as attacker means prefer maneuver and fire, and engage melee only if in advantage, but there is no enemy to engage, so they will move. And the center, 5, charge. Again, advance to the enemy or engage or to the objective, and on the right react, so they stay where they are and only take fire activation. So this could be awkward, but the British light infantry want to see what the French are going to do and react to them at the moment. So that's it. And now proceeding to the fire for the 2 cannon deployed, which probably will take fire to the Dragoon that are the forward unit for the French, but I need to check. And that's it. The rest of the British will move. We're back at the end of the entire turn because only 2 dice will roll at the moment. So back in a sec for the end of the turn. The British turn is over. Essentially, Graham is not so lucky because of the 2 cards he drew, one was the 2, so he has to reshuffle it into the deck and take a surprise attack. Then everything activates with success, so with a double move, the light section of the King German Legion has taken just possession of the hill, while the 3 march column of Portuguese and British or German followed them in good order. The cavalry take position, deploy their artillery, and the horse artillery is deployed into the field, while the section of the squadrons of light cavalry is just outside the charge distance of the enemy cavalry. The Scots Brigade has advanced and taken position. The 92nd, what is the number? I can never remember. 91st Light Battalion is entered into the mission, while the 6th Rifle occupy the church. The Guard follow still in march column. Both the artillery are shot in the shooting phase, put the 2 casualty and shaken the Dragoon on foot. This brigade deployed in line with the light section in front of them to protect, and they, according to the strategy, they just wait here. Probably I do not take this decision, but I have to follow what they say, so they stay where they are. I also use a home rule that we made, so the artillery can shoot over the head of their friends if they shoot from a hill or to a hill, hitting on a 6 regardless the modifier. So they have no the line of sight closed, but they can still shoot next turn if their line of sight is closed. And now that's it for the first British turn. I'm moving into the French first turn. The fate for Marshal Massena is the ace and all-out assault, and now proceeding into the shooting, essentially with the battery deployed, and then to the activation phase. So this is the end of the fire phase, but this allows me to show you how now the rule for battery and for heavy artillery now works. Battery allow up to 5 gun to land support, and reroll the 1 to hit before the modifier are applied. And the heavy artillery have a total of 2 dice for their main attack. So in total this battery will roll 4 dice if they shoot at the same target, so they did, but they roll poorly, so just 1 casualty is put to the hussars in front of them. Probably a battery is better to mix the weapon, because it's kind of waste to use the heavy artillery in battery, but this is a consideration of the last moment. I decided to choose for cavalry rather than artillery. I could try to suppress the enemy artillery fire, but I want to put some casualty into the hussars. I hope for that, for better, but it is not. And now proceeding into the movement for the French, and back at the end of the turn for a quick recap. Not really a good start for the French. This brigade failed to receive the order and stay where it is. In the center they activate. The Dragoons successfully rally. The new rally works that you roll a number of dice equal to your casualty. For every 6 you take 1 casualty out, and you have a +1 if you are more than 12 inches away from any enemy. So indeed you get 1/6 and take out 1 casualty. This brigade also failed to activate, so just the center brigade and the Leger move forward. The Voltigeurs remain in the woods, and their light detachment of cavalry reach the barricade. The rest of the Legers move forward. One unit of Leger enter into the wood and occupy them, while the two column, one remaining column, and follow this unit of unrestrained infantry move forward. The Voltigeur and the unit of Leger take the line position. So a mixed turn. Not good into the fire, not very good into the movement, not the good start for the Marshal Massena. Now moving into the British second turn. The British second turn start drawing an ace, so an all-out assault for the Brits too, and then roll to see what they are going to do. In the center they are in advantage, so +1 to the roll, and they take a 6, so charge. A charge advance toward the enemy, engage it in melee if possible. So we see the cavalry will surely charge, the infantry will move, they have no charge but they take position to get the objective as soon as possible. On the left they react, so they stay where they are, preferring shooting to maneuver, and they will take nothing else than stay where they are and shoot if they have target in range. On the right they move into engage, so engage being prefer maneuver over fire, and engage melee if in advantage. They have no enemy in range, so they will maneuver to try to start the attack to the hill and to the woods. Back at the end of the fire for the first recap and then for the activation. The British fire phase is over, and although they fire a few weapons, they get good result. Both these units, one, the Cazador shaken the artillery, and the second German Legion put one casualty into this voltage here. The artillery here shoot at the Dragoon, putting one casualty, while the canister of this horse artillery put one casualty into the enemy hussars, the 5th Hussars. And the center, the skirmisher from the 91st and the 6th Rifle shoot into the cavalry and force them to a test, which it pass. And here the combined fire from the skirmisher of the 51st and the rifle also shaken this artillery. So all in all, not a bad fire turn for the Brits, and now moving into the activation phase, and then a recap at the end of the turn. The British turn is over, and in the center both the infantry, the guard advance and take a better position into the missions courtyard, and this unit here also advance and take a good position to support both the hills and also the hills attack and the mission. But in the center, the cavalry, according to the strategy, charge headlong, and the hussars charge the dragoon on foot, routed them, but taking 2 casualty. Then, due to the role add strong, they also charge the horse artillery. The new rules of threat rank take out 1 die to the total. So this is the result. The canister rule add 2 dice plus the support for the partner unit, 2 hits and nothing for the hussars, which pass their test, and for the new rules of cavalry they can retreat, and they all make their retreat. The same, this light cavalry here, which charge the hussars, both units strike very well, 3 times each. Both the units are shaken, but the 5th Hussar passed their test, so the light dragoon fell back and are shaken, but can make a retreat movement, and the British decided to wait for the reserves, so the heavy cavalry is still on the route, and now proceeding into the French second turn. And the French second turn start with a queen, which is a Turk of a trance, could be useful this turn. And now proceeding to the fire and then for the rook up. Shooting phase is over. This voltage here failed to hit on the hill, and so did the horse artillery, which shoot with canister into the light dragoon, but failed to hit with every single gun. This horse artillery was shaken by the fire of the French battery, still not used the reroll, and then one wound is put from this light cover with its carbine into the 51st light, and the voltigeur here put one casualty into the hussars. This battery here, although shaken, put one casualty. Really hit 3 times, but they are in open order, so as the casualties, so 3 became 1.5, so 1 casualty to the 6th rifle. No more shooting and no test. Now proceeding into the activation phase. Everything advanced for the French. This turn into the activation phase. This brigade push forward to support the attack. The Leger take also overtake the woods and overtake the woods and the hill to try to attack on the flank the Brits, but the battle rise in the center, where the hussars, shaken hussars, charge into the shaken counterparts, the light dragoon, and rout them. So did this chasseur and cheval, with rout the light dragoon, but take 3 casualty and are shaken. Here the chasseur and cheval break and put these hussars into the shaken. Then, taking the valor test for both the side, the French pass and the British fail. So, because every unit is shaken of the remaining unit of the brigade, and they are more and are within 6s, cannot claim the home rules for a valor test. So both the units of the light cavalry are gone. One defeat is taken by the British plus another one because the brigade is destroyed. And then the turn ends with the arrival of the French reserve. The heavy cavalry enter in the center of the table here. Then I remove the casualty, put the dragoons in, the heavy cavalry in, and then moving into the British turn 3. French turn is over. I also used the rules for retreat to take the hussars and the chasseur and cheval shaken back towards the line, not to be the closest one. Probably I fail into this. I need to double check, but anyway, they don't stay in the middle of nowhere in face of artillery. We'll see. I proceed in a moment. Now, the British turn start drawing a 5, stubborn to remove 1 casualty, useful in the previous turn. And now proceeding to the tactics roll. In the center, the British are still in advantage. Even if their cavalry at the moment is free, they are shaken, so it's not a terrible threat. So I keep the +1, so 3 engage, prefer moving and fire rather than charge. Very, very appropriate. On the left, no bonus, so 3 is a probe, and probe mean maneuver with caution approaching the enemy line. We prefer fire over melee. They engage only if in clear advantage. On the right is the same probe, so same result. So now moving into the fire and then into the activation turn. The fire here on the hill put 1 casualty into this voltigeur, while the Cazador failed to hit. Put 1 casualty into the column, but just 1 on the 4 dice. This artillery here failed to hit anything. The 91st put 1 casualty into the French hussar, which failed for the French chasseur and cheval, and they failed their morale. But the officer pass, it's a fortitude test on the end of the fire. Here, the fire from both this unit put 2 casualty and shaken that voltigeur here, and 1 casualty here. Combined fire from the 95th Rifle and the militia put 2 casualty into the understrain unit of Leger on that side, and that put an end to the fire movement, and then the British let their heavy cavalry in. At the end of the British turn, the King German Legion take defensive position up to the hill and became an hard nut to crack for the French, but the center is the real hard nut to crack. When the Guard deployed, the first Rifle Brigade, the Scots Brigade, completely into the courtyard of the mission and deployed, and with this other brigade also deployed. On that side, the two units, the Mormonshire and the Oxfordshire, closed their ranks and ready to receive the French or assault the woods, while their militia and skirmisher offer support. And that's it for the British turn. Now moving into the French turn. So the card for this turn is a 3 Confusion, which is not so interesting now because there are no Weaver Brigade. And you can see the reinforcement of the heavy cavalry for the Brits, it's coming from the reserves. And now proceeding to the fire for the French, and a recap at the end of this phase. Interesting shooting phase. This artillery completely miss, but the line and the skirmisher put 1 casualty into the second. The artillery here put 2 casualty into this battalion of the King German Legion. 1 casualty is put onto this artillery from the skirmisher rule used by the dragoon on foot. Here, the battery, first time that I re-roll and also missed the re-roll, but the 3 hits are put into this battalion. Do not forget that I can choose the target thanks to the trait for their leader. Both the skirmisher put 1 casualty here. Sorry. This voltiger using the skirmisher put 1 casualty into the 6th Rifle and shake them. The fire from the this battalion of Leger onto the hill shaking the guerrilla. They shoot with their skirmisher into the 95th Rifle, but I see now that they have no line of sight, so they put 1 casualty not in the 95th Rifle but into the militia down here with the skirmisher, while the battalion into the wood fire to the 52nd Oxfordshire, but completely miss. And that's it for the fire. Now moving into the activation fire phase. End of the activation phase. Here Masséna lead the charge and both the column of attack take no casualty and rout 2 units, the 51st and the 60th Rifle, taking no casualty in return, but the brigade pass its Valor test, so no defeat here. On this hill, on the contrary, this unit here charged the Cazadors, take 2 wounds in return, but shaking them. And this unit also take 2 wounds in return, but rout this unit, and the general fail his Valor test. So 1 casualty is put on any surviving units, and the Cazador is gone. And finally, on the hill, this column of attack put 2 casualty into the 52nd Oxfordshire, and again take no casualty in return. So this put an end to the French turn. Now moving into the British turn, when 45 minutes to the end of the game for today. The British turn start with an 8, so inspiration, good for the previous turn. As usual, it is drew a turn too late. Now, on the right, they are equal, so no modifier, A 2 is a react, so they are the attacker, and so unit can only fire, so they will shoot into the French. And this is probably the best British response to a French attack over a hill. In the center, the Brits still have the advantage at the moment. So the last, probably not, no modifier. So 2 is an engage. Engage means prefer maneuver and fire. Engage melee only if in advantage. So we'll see. And on the right, they are in disadvantage at the moment because they have a few units still completely operative, and the French are coming. So engage is the obvious result. The French play disorder, so no free activation this turn, moving into the fire, and then a recap at the end of this phase. All the British line fire as you see the smoke from the muskets, and here this unit of Portuguese shaking the column, put to 2 casualty. 1 casualty is put into the grenadier, 1 casualty is put into this column here. The artillery shut all together and just put 1 casualty into the skirmisher here, shaking them, but nothing else. The fire from the 91st, the entire fire, put 1 casualty into this line. The 40 in line with the support of the 1st Scots put 1 casualty into this column, while the 69 put 1 casualty here, and the 95th Rifle shoot into the woods and put 2 casualty into this battalion here. And nothing else. Now proceeding into the activation phase. The activation saw the 40 line battalion, which successfully rallied twice. The militia, the guerrilla that moved back, and that unit here successfully rallied, but was beaten hard in melee. Put 2 casualty into this leger, but then it failed, taken 3 and failed its Valor test, so it's gone. But the officer passed his Fortitude test, and that's it for the British turn. Now moving into the French turn. And the draw is a 2, so no fate card this time for Massena. I have to the flush. The cards then move into the fire phase and see what will happen. Very confused fire phase. This artillery here shoot to the Portuguese and failed to hit. The combined fire from this voltage here and the artillery put 1 casualty into the third battalion of the King German Legion. They shoot with skirmisher and also shoot the skirmisher. They shoot and they offer support and shaking this artillery in the middle. 1 casualty is put into the 40 line in the corner while battalion by the voltigeur in green, the Irish voltigeur. Then the line shoot into the 91st and put 1 casualty. This battalion, this voltigeur here put 1 casualty. No, they put no casualty. This artillery shoot over the head and fail to do anything. This line here put 2 casualty into the 40 line battalion. This shoot onto the hill but also fail. The battalion into the woods put 1 casualty into the 95th Rifle, and that's it for the fire. And the artillery here in battery put 1 casualty into the 91st. Sorry, so this line battalion here put 1 casualty into the Cornwall regiment. Sorry for the confusion. It's very hard to pick the target and decide where to shoot in this case. So that's it, and now proceeding into the activation for this phase. Oh, the activation phase is over, and it was a terrible one for the French. It could be even the phase that decide the end of the game. We'll see. Probably both of the side have 2 more turn, no more than this. So a very bad one. They charge the line, they win heavily, they take 3 Valor tests and they stay in the on this hill. In the center nothing's happened because there is no melee, but this brigade that I desperately need to move failed to activate, and I cannot even discard the charge to take this voltager away to have better line of sight for the battery. So my bad for the movement, but bad luck for Masana. Here the cavalry take this position, luring the heavy cavalry, but we'll see after the fire what will happen. And on that side, the British charge, they crush the 40 line, but the 69 became shaken by the crush, a column. Both sides take the Fortitude test. Brigade Bosalton fail, so the column beside the French, the Swiss also routed because they were shaken, and put 2 casualties on this column. While the Brits also fail, but they have the card number 8, the inspiration, so they auto-pass the Fortitude test, so they stay where they are. And on this hill, this light brigade, a Leger brigade, also failed to activate, wasting a turn that could be potentially decisive for the control of the hill. And now start the British turn. And the turn begin with a 2, so it had to reflush, and then we'll see the strategy at the moment on the hill. Now they are at advantage, so +1 on the right, so on the left, sorry, 6 is engage, charge, engage in melee if in advantage, and they are, obviously are. In the center they are in advantage, and also is a charge, so they have to charge in after the fire. On the left they take a react, so they shoot at the incoming French. And now proceeding to the fire phase. As usual, the British fire is blistering. They shake this column here. They did not take fire because they prefer to charge in. The artillery separated fire, this one with the support of this one, put 1 casualty into the dragoon on foot here, while the other artillery shoot at canister and the support of the 40 line into the line, putting 2 casualty. The 91st put 1 casualty into this voltigeur, Irish voltigeur, the 60 rifle and the 1st Scots, another casualty into that voltigeur and shake them. On this side, 1 casualty is put into the Swiss from the skirmisher of the 69 rifle in front of them, ready to take a move and clear the space for the charge of the Gordon Highlanders. The 95th rifle put 2 casualty into the wood, and so the Monmouthshire can try to reconquer the wood, while the Spanish militia put 1 casualty into the column, bring the total of that to 3 token. And that's it for the fire. Now moving into the British activation. What a turn, what a massacre. Recapping here, the British King German Legion failed to activate, so the plan to fall back and charge with something else is failed, and the line was crushed by this unit of infantry here. And that's it, they passed their Fortitude test. Then the cavalry, using surprise attack, charge this unit here, charge the dragoon on foot and crush both the unit, but taking 3 casualty in return. This unit here charge the light artillery and crush it, and then crush into the voltigeur here and also break them, but take 3 casualty in return. Then this brigade fail its Fortitude, and so both this unit take shaken 1 casualty because this unit here is destroyed, it was shaken and have an enemy within 6 inches, and they take one casualty, and became shaken. The light cavalry fail its Fortitude, and the Hussars here are destroyed. But they have no enemy within 6, and due to our home rule, it passed their Valor, saving the brigade. And the center nothing happened. Down here, the Gordon Highlander crushed the Swiss, but taking 5 wounds in return. General Boselton passed their test. And here again, the Monmouthshire charged the woods, put 3 casualty into this French unit here, which put no casualty in return, but they pass 3 Valor tests, so they stay where they are. And due to the time, I have time just for the last turn for the French, so everything will be played in this turn. The British have made the best as they can, and now it's the French turn to try to do as much damage as possible and take as much objective as possible. Vive l'Empereur, a very significant card for the last turn. Now moving into the fire, and then a recap at the end of it. Not a great shooting phase. The 2 columns shoot into the King German Legion, put 1 casualty, it's not enough. This Voltigeur here put 2 casualty into the 40 line, the 29th line battalion, if I'm right, the Cornwall battalion essentially, and this one failed to hit. The battery put 1 casualty into the 91st. This artillery miss, this unit here completely miss, and that's it for the fire phase. Now moving into the last activation phase, and I use Vive l'Empereur on the Central Brigade. And the last French turn and the last turn of the game is over. Here the light brigade for the French was beaten hard because the Spanish militia crushed the column of attack, and the Monmouthshire take 2 casualty. I do not put them, but they win the melee and crush the unit inside the wood, which rout. They take the woods and inflict a defeat on the brigade because he failed one of the 2 Fortitude tests. The last battalion of this French brigade lose the battle against the exhausted, shaken Gordon Highlanders, but luckily for them, they just take 2 casualties, so no need to take further tests. The 2 British battalion in the center were crushed by the Polish, but the officer passed both its Fortitude test. Here, the Dragoon charged their counterpart and crushed all of them. They end shaken, but the heavy brigade for the British are destroyed, so 1 defeat is put into the overall general. And now proceeding to count the point and see who is the winner between me and the AA, and the battle looks very, very close, so need to make some calculation. Back in a sec. So this is the result. 5 defeat was inflicted to the Brits and 4 to the French, but the British control the woods down there, while the mission and Death Hill are contested. So it's a 6-5 for the AA, which beat me. And honestly, I don't know if we have a couple of more turns, because in the center the guard are fresh and ready to push back. The French on that side, just 1 full battalion remain to contest the wood, and on that side everything is shaken. The cavalry is alive but shaken, and they have to survive a turn of fire with 2-3 artillery and a line. So all in all, probably this is the true result. What I may say, the battery is not bad. Probably the point for the officer are well spent in a mission where you plan to use your artillery. Every turn on the main objective. In this dispersed game, I waste some of their potential, but most of their potential was lost because 2 turn their fire was obstruction by the my bad movement. So suspended validation for this. I like the heavy French brigade of cavalry. I like the British heavy brigade with the general with the dashing, but probably again, if I have to use a second in command, it will be it should be one of the brigade officer with some trait that make the British to stay longer than what they usually do. All in all, a very close game, a very fun one. One bad turn for the French, a very bad one, probably cost me the game, but some bad luck for the British too. So all in all, the result is good, and I'm happy to see that IA still work and work better. Thank you for watching. Happy to game again after so many times. Hope to offer you some video quick enough. For now, it's all. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.